Hi, this is Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. And today's talk is going to be on H. pylori infections. So H. pylori is one of the most common infections that we see out there. About 50% of the population has an active H. pylori infection. So H. pylori is primarily an infection found in the stomach. So again, here's our little stomach here. This is our stomach, and H. pylori is primarily found in the stomach. So H. pylori is a bacteria. It's a helico-shaped bacteria. If you Google it, you'll get a nice little image of it. That's why the H stands for Helicobacter. And essentially, it's spread via saliva. So this infection is spread via saliva. So it can be transferred very easily from child to adult, from adult to child, from spouse to spouse. So it's not a very invasive infection that may be spread by fecal, oral, or intimacy. So it's a lot more invasive in regards to that. This infection can actually get loose, and it can go systemic and affect the brain and affect the vasculature and create inflammation. So all of these infections really boil down to inflammation. So let's go over how H. pylori works and how it's probably the #1 cause for autoimmune thyroid issues, along with digestion problems, along with even stomach burning or indigestion problems. So let's take a look at it here. So H. pylori works. These little H. pylori guys here, they actually avoid stomach acid. They have little receptors that can sense acidity or pH. So the lower a pH, the more acidic. The higher a pH, the more alkaline, the more basic. So essentially, you produce hydrochloric acid, HCl, and that goes into your tummy to help digest protein. It's really important. So digestion is primarily done in the stomach in regards to protein. From there, it goes into the small intestine, and that's where fat is digested as well, and then protein is reabsorbed. So if we don't have good digestion in the stomach, that's step 1. We're going to have really bad digestion when it comes to step 2. That's a really important concept. So again, we make HCl. What the H. pylori does, it avoids the hydrochloric acid and actually burrows into the mucosa of the gastrointestinal, or let's say in the tummy, in the gastric mucosa of the stomach. So it's avoiding it. It burrows in, it creates inflammation in the stomach. So then what happens is you become more sensitive to acidity in the stomach. So we normally have an acidity of 2, which is very, very acidic pH to break down protein. So we're getting inflammation from the H. pylori in the stomach. Remember, H. pylori is considered to be the ulcer bacteria, the #1 cause of ulcers. So what happens is it's burrowing in there, it's avoiding the acidity. What H. pylori also does, it actually produces some enzymes. H. pylori produces enzymes. You know they're enzymes because they have an ASE at the end, an ACE. You have urease, and you have oxidase. Now, urease is really important because part of the protein digestion, we leave a compound called urea. So what urease does, it breaks urea down. And when urea gets broken down, it gets broken down into CO2, carbon dioxide, and then it gets broken down to ammonia. So the problem is, if you don't know your pH scale, ammonia is 11 on the pH scale. So what that does is that 11 comes out, it interacts with the pH in the stomach and creates a neutral pH. So the pH becomes neutral, or that of water. So then what we have is we have a problem now with digestion. So we take in proteins and fats. They're not digested properly. They sit there, they acidify, they ferment, and they putrefy, and they create organic acids. Organic acids rise up, and they come all the way up until they get to the esophagus, and this is where burning happens. Burning happens right here. And most people think that burning occurs because we're having too much stomach acid. And I'll tell you what, 90% of the time that's not the case. 90% we're having too little stomach acid, which is essentially causing indigestion and allowing organic acids to ferment and rise up. So again, the key is to figure out if you have an H. pylori infection. So one of the first things you can do in the meantime is get digestive enzymes, bile salts, and hydrochloric acid on board. It's important to start off slow because if your tummy's a little bit irritated, it could cause some irritation. So you want to start off slow with that, and you want to make sure you get to the root cause, because being on proton pump inhibitors or something like Prevacid, Prilosec, Omeprazole, Nexium, those are all proton pump inhibitors. Those are not fixing the problem. So what we start seeing is, we start seeing long-term problems in regards to protein digestion, all right, and we also see mineral issues, so mineral problems. So we'll see zinc deficiencies. We'll start seeing selenium deficiencies. Selenium is a really important mineral that helps thyroid conversion. We'll start seeing calcium issues. But these are all really, really important, because if we're not breaking down these minerals, we're not able to make strong bones, we're not able to have good thyroid function, we're not able to have good energy. So long term, if we do not address this, is a whole world of hurt coming our way. The next part will be on testing, how we figure out if you have this bacterial infection. Hope this video was informative. Thanks. Have a great day.